Okay, now we have finished the review except for the diagrams and getting you ready for your test, okay? Now, what I'd like to do is just ask you a few questions to make sure that you are ready for this, okay? So let's review just real quickly, okay? You're gonna take the test tomorrow, but today let's review. If you're struggling with this, I want you to check out a piece of paper, write notes down of things that you need to go over again, okay? What are the 5 questions that an adjective answers? Which one? What kind? How much? How many? Or whose? If it is an adjective, it must tell us about a what? It must tell us about a noun or a pronoun. Nouns are a person, place, thing, or idea. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. For example, I would say Pastor Wilkerson is the pastor of First Baptist Church. Pastor Wilkerson will preach on Sunday. Pastor Wilkerson will speak on Grace to Grow. Well, instead of keep saying Pastor Wilkerson, Pastor Wilkerson, Pastor Wilkerson, I can use a pronoun, he, okay? So if I have an adverb, what is it, or the questions that an adverb is gonna ask? It's gonna answer the questions, where, when, how often, to what extent, under what conditions, or why. If I have an adverb phrase, okay, I'm basically looking for a prepositional phrase, or I am looking for a participial phrase. Phrases will be a group of words acting together for one unit as one description. And it will either be an adjective or an adverb. That all depends on what does it answer, what does it describe. If it's a clause, the difference between a phrase and a clause. We just said a phrase is a group of words acting as one unit, but so is a clause. So how do I know the difference? Well, a clause, number 1, is going to have a subject and a verb, but not express a complete thought. It cannot stand on its own. Also, a clause is going to have, most of the time, it's going to have an introductory word. If it's an adverb, it'll be introduced by a subordinating conjunction, such as because, as far as, okay, those kinds of things. There's a list of them in your book for you to look at. If you need to go back and look at them, there is a list in there. The subordinating conjunctions, go back and make sure you look over those. Make sure you know them before the test. If it's an adjective clause, it's going to be introduced by a relative, okay? And make sure that you've gone over the relatives, that you know what they are. On the test, I'm going to ask you to look at the sentence, to find the adverb, and then tell me what the adverb modifies, okay? I'm also going to ask you to find a phrase, type out that phrase. Then I'm going to ask you to tell me what does that phrase describe. I will do the same for a clause. Which group of words is the clause in the sentence? And what does that clause describe? I will also give you sentences with all of those rules of things like any or any other, less and few, them or those, better or best, things like that. And you'll have to choose the correct adjective or the correct adverb for the sentence. There is a section on the test where I ask you to find complements. You'll need to find direct objects, indirect objects, predicate nominatives, and predicate adjectives. There is a section where I will ask you to choose this. I will type in several sentences, and I will ask you to choose the sentence that I have typed in that has correct punctuation. Or I might ask you for the correct manuscript. That's capitalization. I will say, okay, which of these sentences has correct manuscript? In other words, these words had to be written out. 25, would I write the word 25 out, or would I write it in digits? I would write it out, okay, because it is less than 3 words. But if I have the number 204, I'm going to put it in digits because that would be 3 words. Manuscript also refers to abbreviations such as AD and BC. We know that AD comes in front of the year, but BC goes after the year. Would I use AM or in the morning or o'clock? You know, which of those do I use and when? I will ask you to choose the sentence that's either correct or the sentence that I might put some of them in there that are all incorrect except for one, or I might put, you know, you have to read the sentence. Are you looking for the one that's wrong, or are you looking for the one that is right? Next, I'm going to ask you to choose the right verb. You'll have to choose things like between eat and et. Please don't miss that one, okay? I'm from the hills of Kentucky, and even I don't miss that one, okay? Rises and raises. Okay, remember the word raise has to have an object. Please raise the window, okay? But the sun, it does it by itself. The sun rose over the horizon. No one was pushing it up, all right? Is and are, okay? Make sure you know that subjects and verbs have to agree. So make sure that you know which one to use. Bring and take. You bring something closer to the speaker. You take something away, okay? Sitting and setting. If you're going to sit, that means you're going to sit down in a chair. If you're going to set, you have to have an object. I have to set my pen on my desk, but I will sit in my chair, okay? You'll have some pronouns. Now, in order to choose the right pronoun, you have to say, how's it used? If it's a direct object, it needs to be in the objective case. If it's the subject of the sentence, it needs to be in the subjective case, okay? That pretty much sums up our test. There is a diagram, okay? And I will put a JPEG on there for you to open. Had a little trouble with the JPEGs opening the last time I did it in algebra, but I think we have that glitch all fixed. And so there will be some diagramming on your test, okay? Just one, I believe, one sentence, multiple things to diagram on it, okay? That test is going to be on Friday, okay? So it's going to be tomorrow. If you have questions about the test, you need to call me, text me, leave me a message in the comments below. You need to do something so I can get you whatever help you need before the test. Guys, your fourth quarter is all based on online learning. You need to be doing all of your work, okay? Most of you are doing absolutely fabulous, and I'm very proud of you that you've done so well. Okay, have a good day.